elementary school for quite a few years and spent much of my career with the Polk County Public Schools. Had a wonderful career there. I went back to earn my master's degree. I earned a Master of Education in Educational Leadership because I really wanted to, I loved being in my classroom, but I really wanted to spread my wings and have the opportunity to work with students across all grade levels and teachers in various subjects and grade levels as well. So I had the opportunity to move on into an administrator's role where I served as an assistant principal. I visited around serving as an interim principal. I worked at our district office for quite a while with Polk County Public Schools, working with new teachers, new guidance counselors, and had great opportunities there, and really had the longing to go on and earn my doctorate degree. So I went back to school again. My parents didn't think I'd ever stop going back to school, but I was very fortunate. I went back to the University of South Florida and earned my doctorate of educational leadership and education, and loved every minute of it. I met so many wonderful folks along the way, and it really did impact my ability to positively impact to do some other things. And I went on to be a college professor for several years, and had the opportunity to move to Florida Southern College, where when I came to Florida Southern, I was the department chair for the Department of Education. So I served in that role for a few years and then assumed the Dean of Education for the School of Education's position about 12 years ago. And then this summer, I moved into the Associate Provost of Academic Affairs position. So again, I've had the opportunity now from working with one school and one group of students to really students from all of our schools here on the campus, and so many different programs. So here we are today. So I'm happy to be here, and certainly when I look back and I talk about all of those different places I've been in, positions I've been in, it doesn't seem like the time has gone by that quickly, but it truly has, and been very fortunate along the way.
That's a really so much happened in your path to where you are now. Can you explain what the difference is when you first started teaching at the college level to what you do now? What are the differences in your roles?
Sure. Well, when I first started teaching at the college level, actually I was a part-time professor. I taught at night because I was still actually, I was still in an assistant principal position with Polk County. And so I was part-time and then moved into a full-time position. But, you know, I think a lot of things have changed. The tools that we teach with today look and sound and are much different than the tools we had, say, just 15 years ago. And that might seem like a long period of time. As you get older, 15 years doesn't sound like too long ago, because you can look back and you can really see it as if it was yesterday. But, you know, just 15 years ago, we used tools like overhead projectors to project images onto a big screen, a pull down screen in your classroom. We still had chalkboards, and we used chalkboards on a regular basis. And now when you walk into a classroom, if you're in a face-to-face classroom, you don't even probably the students here today might have never even seen or used an overhead projector, because now we have document cameras and laptops with projectors and ceiling projectors and things that do these great things for projecting images and information. But we also have the internet, the wide availability that when you have access to Wi-Fi, the research that you can conduct, the information that you can glean, the conversations that you can begin really about most any topic has really just taken us to places and given us the ability to do so many things that we couldn't do just a few years ago at such a rapid pace. Mm-hmm. that's the difference. We've always had the ability to do research and conduct analyses and work together. But now, because of technology, it's changed the way we teach. I think it's created a different kind of pace for teaching and learning. And I think that's probably one of the greatest changes in the classroom that I've seen over the recent years.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I believe it's absolutely true, what you're saying. We do have some questions from the students. Ashley wants to know, which education level out of all that you've taught did you enjoy teaching the most?
Well, that's a good question. That's a really hard question for me because I love being in the classroom. And I always thought when I taught second grade, when you asked me when I was a teacher of second grade, what's your favorite grade level that you're teaching? And I would have said, by all means, the second grade. At the college, that, you know, when I moved on to do some other things at the college level, you probably could have asked me when I was teaching foundations of education, what's your favorite class you've ever taught before? And I'd probably say, oh, by all means, foundations of education, this class right here. So I guess my answer is I love teaching, and I always have. And typically my favorite class is the one I'm currently teaching at that very moment and that subject area. So I constantly change. Everything has been my favorite along the way. And I think that's the real heart of a real teacher. So I know I'm in the right place, certainly. But that's a great question. I've loved them all.
Our next question, Judah, if you don't mind, I'm going to rephrase this a little bit. What has been the most difficult or challenging part in your career so far?
Well, I think every career has challenges along the way. I think probably the challenges that I have recalled that have stayed with me because I didn't have a huge solution for them. When I was probably when I was teaching elementary school many years ago, I as an assistant principal, one of my jobs was to do bus duty. I did bus duty every single day, morning and afternoon. And I would see all, you know, on those cold days, I'd see our, you know, boys and girls getting off the bus, and sometimes they wouldn't have a jacket on, or they would have on short sleeves when, gosh, I wished they had had on long sleeves, or, you know, things like that could maybe have truly made a difference in how they felt and how they were doing. And I always wished I could provide more for my boys and girls to help them to be prepared along the way. But we did do several things at a couple of my schools because that was always a concern. I wanted everybody to be ready and feeling good about going to school every day. We created what's now very common. 20 years ago, they weren't as common, clothes closets. So if that student needed a jacket or had forgotten a jacket or didn't have one, or maybe didn't have on the right shirt or whatever, we would loan them or even give them, you know, what they needed to get through the day to turn it around and make it a really great day. I always wished I could do more in helping our boys and girls to get prepared and ready to have a great day every day. But we try to turn those, any challenges that they might have around, particularly first thing in the morning, to try to get them ready and focused on a great day so they could really have a great day. Because that was the goal every day. Have a great day, learn as much as you can, and enjoy learning, make it fun, and let us help you in whatever way we can to get you to those goals.
I also want to kind of relate that to our current, you know, our year of 2020. How has your job changed with COVID-19? What have you seen that has been a big challenge for you that you may have, you know, learned to overcome this year with our new protocols?
Yeah, well, that's another great question. I think COVID-19 has really thrown us some challenges along the way that we weren't expecting, but I do know this. I know that we were ready, and I know the students have done a great job overcoming these challenges, whether they're able to come face to face or whether they're doing remote learning at home. I think one thing that we figured out is that we can do this. No matter what's thrown our way, we can do it, and we can stay laser focused on what we need to do. I think one of the biggest challenges is we've had so many classrooms that have had to go remote. And so we've had to really switch into different gears along the way and figure it out. We didn't really have a manual telling us how to approach this for everybody because everybody's situation is a little bit different. But, you know, the goal at the end of the day was to keep everybody safe, keep everybody learning, and keep everybody moving forward, because we know we're going to get past this. We are. And we don't really know when at this point, but I think I have found myself really having to focus on those things and try to help everybody else to stay focused on those things, those couple of things. We can do this, we can figure it out, and we will get past it. So let's stay safe by making sure that we're implementing all of those best practices that we know are good preventatives for spreading the virus, as well as moving learning forward, because, you know, our students have to keep moving forward. They're bright, they're wonderful, they've got these great futures ahead of them. And because we have this pandemic, we can't let this slow us down along the way. We might be moving at a little bit different pace, but we're going to keep learning because they have so much ahead of them. We can't let this stand in their way of being the great successful learners that they already are.
Yeah, absolutely. Israel asked the question, what was the reason for you becoming a teacher?
You know, I'm going to have to put on my glasses and read the chat box because I lost you there, Miss Hanley, for just a second.
Oh,
the
I'm
that
sorry.
I became a teacher, that's okay.
Yeah.
I have people ask me that from time to time. I always wanted to be a teacher. I always loved working with students, and I love being in the classroom. I love working together with others, and that's really what teaching is has such a huge part of is working with other people. And I always loved working with others. I love to be a part of those conversations. I love to see those conversations taking place, you know, in the regular classroom where we're all working together. I love seeing students really find their passion and finding that answer that they've been looking for along the way, and feeling really good when they've made that achievement. You know, everybody knows how it feels when you got that answer right or you figured this out. And even if you didn't figure it out, it's okay. You know, you just pick up and try it again. And so I always thought that that was where I was pretty much led to be. And so I found myself, my very first job was teaching third grade. And I taught at a local elementary school here in Lakeland, actually. And it was meant to be, for sure. I've stayed in education for all of these years. I won't tell you how many years because the years are increasing quickly now. But every day in the classroom was a gift for me. And I look back and I see students now that I taught so many years ago, and they have their own careers and they're doing their own jobs, and it's quite rewarding as a teacher. And Miss Hanley, you know, and if we have anybody in here, I hope everybody in here wants to be a teacher, but there's nothing like running into one of your students at the grocery store, and they recall some of the same memories that you've had about that classroom. And then they go back and then they share with you what they're doing and how their education along the way really positively impacted them. And when those things happen as a teacher, the reason why you became a teacher comes full circle right then. because of that rewarding experience that you've had. Because let's face it, the thing that you want to do in your lifetime is positively impact and help somebody else. And if you've been able to do that as a teacher, then you can check off success, I think, next to your name, because we just keep trying to do that and keep trying to make our world a better place. And teaching is a wonderful way to do that.
What is your teaching philosophy, whether you're teaching elementary school students or college students? What do you think is the most important thing when you're with those students in the classroom?
I think the most important thing is just inspiring them to keep learning, have that thirst for learning, even when it doesn't work out quite the way you want it to. Keep going, persevere. Nothing worth doing is ever easy. So when you're sitting in that chemistry class and you might be thinking, oh my goodness, I will not be a chemist. So why does this apply to me? Well, you might not be a chemist, but focus on what's right in front of you, right at that time, and do the very best job that you can. You have to be your very best every day. Life is very short. So you have to focus on every day. You have to look at the positives and do the very best you can, even when it's challenging. So I try to inspire my students, even if it's not your favorite topic, learn the most that you can and then move on, so that when you get to those areas that are your passion, that you really connect with, that you can really use and apply, then more power to you. But you can look back without regret and say, I did the very best I can and I did a good job, or I did the very best I could and I'll keep working on it, or I did the very best I could and boy, has it paid off for me.
We do have a lot of students in this class who are aspiring teachers or are looking to work with children in the future, in a possible future career. What would be your advice to these young people as they are looking at a future career or even going to college? What would be your advice to them?
They need to look no farther than to come to Florida Southern College and earn their degree from the School of Education. Ms. Hanley, they can contact me directly and I'll be happy to help them in any way if they choose to pursue an education degree or a career in teaching. We would love to have them. I know that our Dean of Education, she just scoops those students right up and gets them to the courses that they need and puts them on their way so that they can go out too and make a positive impact on all of the students they will teach in the future. So if they're interested, they need to look no further.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Tedder, for taking some time out of your day to share your experience with my students. I don't see any other questions from anybody. So if there are no other questions, Dr. Tedder, we will let you go, but thank you so much again for joining us.
You're so welcome. It's so nice to see you. I wish you and your students all the best for a great rest of the school year, a safe one, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me, any of your students or Ms. Hanley, you always, if I can assist in any way.
Of course. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Have a great day.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.